questions. Michelle, how do you do this? Michelle, how do you get this? Michelle, how do you know? And so I have checklists after checklists to help you prepare. So first, I always tell people it's time to prepare, but we knew that we needed to come together to help minority and women small businesses get certified. Like this is something that you most definitely need to have as a small business. Not like it's a nice to have. It's like absolutely a need to have. And of course, we came up with the name Scale2Millions because that's what we want to do. You know, there's millions and billions of dollars out there, and a lot of it comes through collaboration. And hence, this is us coming together. You know, it's like for us to collaborate and talk about the benefits. And so you guys will see us today. You guys will see us next week. We'll be talking more topics again because this is very lengthy. This is a very lengthy conversation. And then also we'll talk about the special offering that we have for program that you're like, I'm ready, let's go. This is coming at a really great time because if you're looking to get a federal minority certification, so we're talking about the WOSB, the VOSB, the 8A, even with the GSA, we're talking about different things that right now, August 1st, okay, I really need you guys to hear me. They are revamping their systems. And so that means that they are not taking any new applicants starting August the 1st until their systems are revamped. So we can help you get that information in. You know, as long as your information is in, they're going to look at your information. So that's been made clear. It's not like August 1st, they're not going to look at anybody's information. But if you're like, okay, I wanted to partner with somebody and they told me I needed that WOSB, or they told me I needed this, or they told, you know, whatever they were telling you, but I need help and I need help now. This is what we're here for. So most definitely check our lives, check out our program again, because we want to help you scale to millions.
Yeah, because and it's there. And this is not for the faint in heart, and this is definitely not for people who aren't looking to accelerate their financial position. If you know that you have a great service and you just don't know how to push it to that next level for revenues, and you've been believing, and you're like, okay, how is it going to happen, and you feel like you keep spinning your wheels, we're telling you this is what we do. And we want to be able to help as many people who are willing to invest in themselves to see it actually happen. Once you get these certifications, it makes you more competitive. Why? Because they have certain percentages of who they are looking at when they have these major projects that go out. So you may not be able to be a prime prime contractor on one of these bids that you're going for, but as a sub, that does not mean that limits you to not being able to have a lucrative contract by becoming a sub under someone else's contract. Even when you have your minority certification, what I've also learned is that the government will sole source, meaning they'll identify just one person they want to go to. They may put a sole source notification out to say, hey, and all it's saying is, hey, we want to do services for refugee children, and we need to do housing for them. We just need to know what you all do, where Michelle will come in and be like, okay, that's your capability statement, what you all do, and who would be interested. That's the announcement. And then from there, somebody getting a phone call, and they're likely getting the call because they have a relationship, but primarily they have that designation too as being the VOSB, WOSB, whatever it calls for. So they don't have to do a mass recruitment for a lot of things. So if you've positioned yourself, if you have aligned and you're already prepared because you have this certification, now you're in that seat of competition. So even though they sole source it, say, to ABC Company, and you're like, ABC Company got the $35 million contract. First of all, you have to look at and see if you have capacity to be able to handle a $35 million contract, because there's a lot of stipulations involved with that. And if you're not, that does not mean you don't get access to that capital. Why? Because they can't do all the work themselves, and they need to be able to show who they contract with to be able to fair in saying that we have partnered with minority certified businesses to be able to offer these services.
No, I love that. And you just mentioned something about refugees. I'm telling you guys, I just saw a grant and a contract out for that. Guess what? It's like it's on everything. It's like how to help them build a business. It's about our early childhood education. When I say stuff is out there, you'd be like, okay, Michelle, I get it. Okay, Shannon, I get it. And again, it took us a while to get these items, so like Shannon said, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the faint of heart. So I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you like right here. This is me. So right now I have an active of 31 minority certifications in the state of Alabama all the way to Hawaii. And so there's a few that I have to renew. Okay. And so again, I some of you guys see like you might see red marks here. Don't worry about that. All of that can be fixed. But again, I have these certifications. So this is for the Department of Transportation. This helps with both women-owned small business, minority business enterprise, and women-owned. Okay, I'm getting that WOSB, and then the women business enterprise. WOSB is federal. So I briefly showed that to you because I want you. We need to understand what is WBE, MBE, DBE, WOSB. We're not going to talk about VOSB. Well, that's for the veterans. But we're really going to focus today on the WOSB and the WBE because we are really looking at the women. We're looking at the women. And like I said, for the WOSB, which is woman owned small business or women owned small business, and this is the federal program certification for women-owned small businesses who are 51% or more owners of that business. And I'll let Shannon explain, what does that look like, that 51%. I will say you can't be 51% and your husband running the business, okay? So let's be clear on that. Shannon, she's married, her husband, he does some things or whatever it is. But Shannon, what is that? What have you seen? Or no, not what have you seen? What is that WOSB? What does that look like? That makeup?
So, okay, so I have to explain it in the terms on how I understand it, because you all can just Google and you can go on to the WASB site on SBA's website, and you can get the checklist and information for what it is specifically that they're looking for. But it's like, as you said, Michelle, 51% ownership. So you own the majority stakes in that business, and you have stock certificates that show that you have that ownership in your business. So even if you are partnered with other people, it's not just specifically for you being 51%. If you're going for the WASB, woman owned small business, if you have another woman that you're partnered with, so say me and Michelle are both partnered in Scale2Millions LLC, we're 100% ownership because we're both women. But when it's me, and say, for example, it's my husband, I can't apply for a WASB if he's the majority owner in the business. So you have to figure out, okay, who is going to have the lead ownership in this particular business. And she also identified some other certifications that you can get on the federal level. The one that she said that she won't talk about, but I will mention for our veterans that are watching, is if you went for the VOSB, the veteran-owned small business, or the SD VOSB, which is the disadvantage. What's the S for? It's
Yes,
something
service disabled.
Service disabled VOSB. Then that means that your spouse or you have a service connected disability, and you want to compete more on the military side for the contracts, because as we go through and we show you where these how to get access to those RFPs that are coming out, you'll see the designations on what type of entity that they're looking for. So just because you're a WASB doesn't mean that you can compete for all types of contracts, because some of them are only specifically designated to like the 8As, the, you know, and the other certifications. But yeah, so you just need to make sure that the makeup of your entity is at least 51% owned by a woman in that. So be careful, like if you're doing partnerships with people, what this actually looks like. You want to ask yourself, you know, how would this, you know, benefit me, you know, by getting this designation? It benefits you if you're looking at going into getting these government contracts through procurement process, whatever it may be, so that you can then access more resources to increase your revenues. So if you're already doing business, great. What happens if you do it now for the government? The government pays for all the services that they get. So if you've worked in the government for a long time, say for example, you're a teacher, you are actually a steward of a government contract. You're a paid government employee, but trust that has been designated as a service. You've probably even been in a position where your job may have been in jeopardy, where a contractor came in and they applied to do the same services that you were doing, and now your job is gone from the government side and you have to now apply on the contractor side. Why? Because that's what the government does. They decide, okay, well, we no longer want to pay for this, we'll pay other people to do the job. And then so since they pay other people to do the job, what is that? That's the contract, a contract that you could compete to apply for. So if you're a teacher and say you're providing training, curriculum development, and then now you have ABC LLC comes in and they apply for your position and your colleague's position, guess what? If you had been WASB certified, you could have competed with ABC LLC and possibly been the owner of that particular contract.
I love that. I mean, that was a very good breakdown. That was a very good breakdown. I love that. Like one of the common questions, and you answer that. My husband is VOSB. Obviously, I'm a woman. Can we do both? No, you cannot. It has to, like you said, it has to be one or the other. And the other thing that you as a woman owned small business have to show is that you have control. You have control of that business. You can't just say it, and when it's time to get interviewed, because believe it or not, they will come, they will check your social media. We'll talk about LinkedIn a little later. They will look at your social media to ensure that you have control over that business, at least 51% control, that you can write checks, you can fire people, you can negotiate salaries and contracts. If you're not doing that stuff, okay, then they're going to look at and say, wait a minute. Even though on paper it's saying that you're 51%, in reality you are not, and that can get you into a lot of trouble. That they can, if you are certified, they can take away your certification. Okay, and then from that, I don't know what the rules are after that if they take away your certification.
Yeah, so they can take it away, and that's why you got to be very selective when you're doing a lot of different trades. If you have a lot of different NACE codes, and you're doing a whole bunch of things and you got all these different companies, you need to really make a decision about how you can do that. So for example, I'll just put mine out there. When they pulled mine, when I applied for a WASB for my construction company, they asked me, they said, okay, well, on your resume, on your social media, on your LinkedIn, you're owner in other companies. Like I'm a part owner in my husband's clothing line company, I Can Clothes. And so they're looking at, okay, well, what is your involvement there? If you're an owner in I Can Clothes, then now I have Family Services of America. How are you going to be 51% ownership and be able to give full-time attention to your construction company? So I had to go and I had to do business affiliation. It's what I'm saying. It's a lot when you're trying to and it can get scary. So for some people, they'll look at it and be like, you know what? I don't want them all. I don't want the government in my business. And you pull back, but you miss opportunities when all you had to do was just be able to effectively explain it. No, you can't be, an octopus and be all places at one time. But if you don't give 100% full-time attention to a business that you have, then you need to explain that. I only do this business once per quarter, or 4 hours monthly, or something like that. When you can break it down, it doesn't disqualify you. So a lot of people are disqualifying themselves because they just don't have the understanding on how do I get this process completed in the right way and still protect, everything that I've worked for, but yet be able to compete for these multi-million dollar contracts.
See, I love that you said that because you talked about LinkedIn. Again, that is the fastest social media platform that they will look at because it's professional. They want to see what you're talking about. When Shannon says a lot of us, we do have multiple businesses. And again, if you're 100% in everything, that might be a little harder for them to see. But if you're 51% or 62% and your spouse is something else, then they're like, oh, okay, you know what? That actually makes sense. And your documentation has to be correct. I had one client, she was working through everything, and I was doing her LinkedIn, and she was like, well, I know how to do my resume. And I was like, well, let me look at your resume first before you go ahead and submit it. She didn't let me look at her resume because she knew how to do
Oh,
her
she
resume.
knew. She was boss, so she knew how to do it.
She did, sent that resume back so fast. And just like you said, okay, what are you trying to get a certification for? Because you have this at the top of your resume. This doesn't state this doesn't state that. She got really nervous. She thought, like, my chances are blown. And I'm like, no, that's an easy fix. Let's go ahead and fix it. And then after that, within 2 weeks, she was certified. So it's just like these are the processes, again, that we went through, that we go through. And sometimes we're waiting, sometimes there are denials, but it's not a permanent denial. So again, before you get like, oh my gosh, like what is this going to look like? It's okay. So I want to share this with you guys here. Shannon, can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so Shannon, if you want to talk through this, I mean, I get this too. I didn't pay attention to it. Shannon was like, Michelle, do you get these? And I was like, yes, this and everything else.
So this right here is just an email, a weekly report that's sent out. So if you all are not registered with the SBA, you need to go ahead and get registered, at least to get on the email list so you'll know what's going on. So they have, remember I was talking about the sources sought, where, they're just looking for, okay, who out here in this world, you can do business overseas. You're not limited to just the US. I remember I had applied to do waste management, refuse services in Saudi Arabia, because on one of the installations they needed that, and they needed bottled water over there in Saudi Arabia. So I did the application. However, the problem was I didn't understand all the other international hurdles. I had to be a member of their chamber in Saudi Arabia with so other layers. I couldn't just come in and do business because, okay, I said that I got this minority certification.
Mm-hmm.
So this right here really expands your opportunity to be able to do business internationally. So if you've ever wondered, how can you do business in Africa? How can you do business in Asia? How can you do business in other parts of the globe? Then this is really a gateway entry for you, because now you can start competing for those OCONUS overseas type of contracts. So what we're looking at here is just showing the set asides that they're looking for. So when it says 8A32 on this slide, it means that they've released 32 of these for these bids. We'll call them bids, contract bids, for people to apply. This is in a week's time. This is not even in a month. This is just in a week. The hub zone, they've done 16. So now when you start looking at numbers here, look at how it starts increasing. WASB, ED WASB is economically disadvantaged, meaning you don't go over, I don't know what the amount is, but a combination of all your businesses doesn't exceed what? is that number? Do you know, Michelle, offhand?
I don't, not for the WASB. I know that you can't make a salary like 750,000.
Okay. And then I know with the combination of your business for the ED WASB, I think it can't be like over like 9 million or something like that. I know
Mm-hmm.
8A, it can't be over 9 million. So they've put out 61 bids, okay, for VOSB, SD VOSB. So for those of you who are looking at, are there opportunities under this veterans program? Yes,
Yes.
250 went out in 1 week. They have so many contracts when it comes to the to the veterans government. Oh my God. I was like, I really need to reconsider my situation if I want my husband to get the minority ownership so we can get the SD Bosby because now it opens up that spectrum of opportunity of what we can apply for. So this is just something just to show you all what happens in the government on a weekly basis.
I love it. And then one of the other questions that I get is, okay, so Michelle, Shannon, can I be all of these at one time? You
No.
can. No, you can if you are a female.
Yeah.
That's the only way. If you are a woman owned small business who's also a veteran, who also you got to live, or the business is in the hub zone.
Hub zone,
Okay.
yeah.
So they
Mhm.
actually have a map for that. You'd be like, how do I know? It's out there on an SBA site. It shows you the hub zone and your 8A, but there's a whole lot of stipulations for the AA also. So,
Mhm.
yes, if you're a woman owned small business, but again, what you want it all at the same time, could you utilize it? We're not going to talk about the AA, but the AA is a really big deal if you have the right mentor too. So that makes
Michelle,
a
let
difference.
me drop that in real quick, and I would love because I'm definitely looking at that for myself. I know someone personally that did the 8A, and he told me, he said, Shannon, it's a game changer with 8A. He said because with 8A you don't even go looking for bids; they come looking for you.
Mhm.
And he said that will scale you up so quickly. He said, and give you access to different level contracts. He said it's a game changer. But when I did that 8A certification, I I'm a very smart woman, but I need to be around smarter people who got the time to do that. They kicked my application back. Your financials. I had to have financials for all my company. It was just so overwhelming. I said, now this isn't as easy as walking through a checklist. So that 8A, yes, is a game changer.
I love it. I love it. I had a somebody I want to say maybe like 2 months ago. She was talking about one of her clients, and him and his group was able to get that $35 million contract through the 8A. And like you said, it took them to get that $35 million contract. I think almost like around the clock. They were working for 3 months.
Yeah.
So when that's the contract for the 8A. Just imagine the certification piece. So it is, and again, we're telling you guys this not to scare you, but we want to tell you that you have to be committed, because if you're not, then you'll get like Shannon, her and I were just talking that it's taken a young lady 3 years to get certified. Now that it doesn't take that long. That sounds like a lot of back and forth. Like she's
Yeah.
missing stuff, that she missed some emails or something
Yeah.
like that. You don't want you okay. So first of all, you don't want to miss any emails. It only takes once. It only
I did
takes once.
that. And we'll talk about that later. Yeah, because my situation. I submitted a document. I needed one document, and my document wasn't no good because they took too long reviewing it. So I was good if it would have went through the normal process. I missed that email and uploaded that document on the 7th day when they said it had to be 6 days. I uploaded on the 7th day. They locked me out, and then they rejected my application.
And just talking about, I'm gonna pull it up right now so we can take a look at it.
Look
We'll
at my
take a look at this
failure over
letter.
here. Yeah, I sent it. I messed up over
You were
there.
like, I did it.
Check your emails.
Yes, you have to check your emails, because if you're not checking your emails, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to miss out. And so this is her letter. And so one of the first things I want to point out, this letter is not a decline or a denial. Okay. So that told Shannon her next step. That bold stuff, they have a lot of bold stuff. So if it's like you need this, it says reason for return. And so right now, Shannon, now what is the process you're going through right now?
So what happened was when I didn't turn it in, they put me under reapplication. So this is this letter, but this isn't the reapplication letter. So there's a reapplication letter, but I participated because I've been involved in this. There is a weekly call a monthly call that you can get on. So I talked with an actual person in this department. And so now I had to redo the whole application all over again. But, we have other situations now that we can look at because I was in connection with someone else. So, yeah, after this, because I didn't do it on time, and look, all I had to do was just update a document, my meeting minutes. It said on there that I had the board of directors, but it didn't list the current officers on there. I'm like, but the officers were on this other sheet, but it had to read a certain way and it didn't. And that's why my application, it didn't get approved with this one, and then it got rejected because I didn't upload it in time, the corrections.
See, something that simple. That's something that simple. And again, we've been through some things, so we can help you out with that.
Now,
It's like, so
I
in
can
the
tell y'all a
end,
lot about what not to do in life when it comes to business. The IRS and everybody, girl. I can tell you about all of that.
you're like, look, y'all, it's like, so in the end, what you
Yeah.
want to do, I want to show you the letter that I got. And of course, Shannon did receive a letter like this before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a letter, you get the congratulations letter. Okay.
Yep.
So you get a congratulations letter, and it's saying congratulations, your firm has been certified. Okay. And so this certification, they moved it, that the certification, you have it for 5 years. So my certification runs out next year and I can renew. The renewal process is very easy. You got to put that on your calendar. You want to start the renewal process, I would say, at least 3 months in advance.
Yes.
Okay. Don't wait until, oh my gosh, I got a week and this, that, and the other. No, don't do that. Don't do that. So again, you see the congratulations. It tells you how to use it. Here, I'll make it a little bigger. Congratulations, your firm has been certified as economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business. It tells you how you can use it. It gives you the different parts of the CFR. So it gives you a nice breakdown. You begin to get invites, and it lets you know how you can use it. You can use the WOSB icon. I do use that icon very, very often. And then it gives you next steps on, here we say for partners, resource partners, grantees. Again, they begin, even in that letter, they begin to help you to get contracts, or at least, research. So it's not like, oh, I got it, now they're coming to me. No, it's just like get any other type of degree. Now you have to go ahead and you have to market yourself. Just like Shannon said with the 8A, they come to you. These other ones, yeah, you have to go to them, and that's okay. So now you have the certification. So I would say between um, Shannon and I, we have like how many certifications? Maybe like 50 or something.
Girl, just you by yourself. I don't have all those certifications that Michelle has because I only do right now business in North Carolina, even though my licenses that I do have for mental health services, for construction, they do have reciprocity in other states. So if I do look at doing business in other states because of those licenses, then I'll apply for reciprocity and I'll probably look at becoming certified on the state level. But that certification, that is a game changer as well. So we don't want to, if we're focusing now for now on the SBA certifications, but if you are looking at, okay, how do I do this on the state level? Once you do all the documents for the federal level, you're over halfway there with what you need to submit for the state level. So just getting this part of it prepared prepares you to accelerate in doing the certification process within your local municipalities, your state.
No, I love that, and that is true. And so we do provide, again, we do provide checklists to help you guys. It does make a difference. Again, the type of business you have, it makes a difference if you're married or not. All of that, all of that makes a difference. And we may laugh about some things of like getting along with your spouse, not getting along with your spouse. When you get that WASB, you most definitely got to get along with your spouse
Yep.
and the VOSB because they ask for information. They
From
want
them.
to make
From
right
them.
from your spouse.
Yes, from your spouse. Or
That's right.
so you think you helping yourself out putting people's names on things, you better be able to qualify those people that you're adding to your businesses. So think about that. Think about the people that you're putting on, that you're trying to help bring on with you, who have criminal backgrounds. Say they have federal. I mean, it's just so many things, so many layers involved. So as we're working with you and helping you to, just accelerate this process for you so you can get it done, definitely, join our group Scale2Millions on LinkedIn, just so you can start getting yourself prepped and prepared. And those who sign up to be a part of our limited seating coming up for our mastermind group, where we're going to mentor you through doing this process, you're going to have prep materials that you're going to have in place, because in order to get it done, you don't just show up. There are things that you're going to have to do on your own, but you're not alone in that process. So definitely make sure you start connecting and asking the questions to see, if this is something that would be a good fit for you at this time. And if you've participated today, we definitely want you to make sure that you send us and click on the link in the Scale2Millions. There's a landing page there where we can get your email address, and we will send you a worksheet from today's discussion. We just wanted to do a quick chat with you all just to let you know that there are advantages. And if you've never seen yourself being able to do business, or you have seen yourself doing bigger business, then this is probably, a call to action on your part. How do I begin to invest in myself to be able to leave more for my family? Heck, to even be able to show up for myself to say, you know what, I'm doing this at a higher level. If you've, got at a position where, you've never hit six figures and you've been in business over 10 years, what's going on? What can we do? This is why we're here. So if you're looking at, okay, how do I move from this level to this level, and you've never tried this process and you've never gone through the government contracting, but you see how it's working for other people. You see how it's working for us. You see Michelle saying how it's worked for her clients. How can you not say, this is my time and this is what I need to do to start investing in myself, so I can also be that person having the conversation saying that I got my first 7-figure contract. Where does that 7-figure contract lead? It leads to another zero, an 8-figure contract. So this is just what you continue to do to build your momentum.
I love that. You just roll that. You just roll it. I know. No, I absolutely love that. It's like, are you ready? Are you prepared? Are you ready to go to the next level? And like Shannon said, we will be there to help you. It's like you giving us a call. We putting information out there in the group for you. It's not like, okay, here's the 150 checklist that you go through, and now you're offering
Right,
your
here your
own.
checklist and your workbook, figure it out.
Oh my gosh, it's like, how terrible is that? It's like, no, it's like, we want you to win. It's like Shannon and I,
Yes.
we had the conversation. Guess what? I can't get that contract that is set for you, but you can't get it if you're not ready. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not ready, then guess what? You can't get it, because again, a lot of my clients have come to me. They're like, I'm about to partner up with this person. They told me I need this type of certification. Can you help me? Yes, I can help you, but you have to be all in. You got to
Mm-hmm.
be ready. You got to be all in. And when I say it's worth it, it is absolutely worth it. It is worth, obviously, the money, and it's worth the networking, because sometimes you do not get invited
Yeah.
unless you're on that list or unless you're in that database. Big
Or
companies.
Michelle,
Uh-huh.
too, with what you said before I lose that thought.
Okay.
What about the people? So one, because I'm WASB, what about the person that's applying for, competing for that prime contract, and they need a WASB? They need
That's
some,
right.
the joint ventures.
Yeah,
So this not
absolutely.
only puts you in a position to do it yourself, but it puts you in a position to actually do it bigger than you've ever imagined, because now there are other companies who want to do it, but they don't have that designation, but they have capacity for an 8-figure contract, but they need you and they need your certification.
They need you because it is written in that contract that they
Mm-hmm.
need 10%, 15%, 12%, whatever that percentage is. One of the big ones that I keep getting emails about, I don't live in Chicago, but they're building a casino in Chicago, and just looking at it, they're building a city within the city.
Mm.
And unless
I'm
you
going to
are a
Chicago.
resident, yeah, right. Unless you are a resident or in the county, Cook County, they are looking like I believe the contract is worth $1.5 billion.
Mm.
And they are looking for women. And I think with the women, it's like 30 something percent that you have to be certified as
Yeah.
woman owned business. And then for the minority, I think it's 10%. And so if we did the math, 36% of $1.5 billion is what?
A lot. A lot. And I looked at doing business in Illinois, but my license don't do reciprocity because I wanted to be on the construction side, but I'm not limited to that. So guess what? For those of you who do marketing, for those of you who do consulting, they need people that produce materials. They need, if you have trucking company, transportation, I got that too. So if you have that, they need people that's going to be able to, maybe transport workers to the different job sites. They need housing. If you have, housing, maybe they have to have some housing, somewhere. If you do gardening, if you do landscaping, they're going to need landscapers for the project. If y'all been pushing a lawnmower for 20 years that your granddaddy done passed on to you, why not get the certification for it? Why not go ahead and say, you know what, we're going to start bidding on these federal and government and state level contracts. You got to think outside your box. And this is why it's going to be very advantageous for you to connect with us, because for those of you who have lived in a box and you can't see how to expand beyond, but there's greater in you, you definitely want to be able to join alongside someone that can just speak something. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the light, the aha moment comes on and you start rolling and nothing can stop you.
I love that. I love that. Look, me and Shannon, we look, so y'all could just, this is behind the scenes. So y'all could just imagine what we have set for you guys in the program.
Yes.
It's all about win, 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 win. I mean, she went with your granddaddy gave you a lawnmower. That's true. And look, and don't be your granddaddy gave you a lawnmower and you a veteran and you don't have your VOSB. What we saying? What's
And
going
I don't
on?
even, and yeah, and I don't even want to share, I can't share too much, but even like my son, 21 years old, girl, had one vending machine in January. Today, a contract over 50.
Come on,
And this
see,
is within 6 months.
see.
And then so and this is minority certification stuff. He's not on that federal certification, but this is the city level,
Mm-hmm.
contracts and everything. So what we're telling you is it works for all. It's not just, people who are positioned, people who have certain levels. And then another thing, girl, we need to stop. We get
See,
okay. We're over. We got to stop. Michelle, we got to stop.
it's over. It's
It's
over.
over.
Look, it's over till next
Yeah.
week. But her and I, we're gonna be talking in between, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In between that
Yeah.
time. But yeah, no, most definitely reach out to either one of us. Check out, we are at Scales2Million on LinkedIn. But check us out, please check out, our profile. We have videos out there, what we do. We were showing you guys some of our receipts of that we've done this. We want to help you win. Okay, just plain and simple. We want to help you win. We want you to be able to help your family. We want you to be able to help your community. We want to help you to create legacy and continue the legacy. You heard Shannon talk about her son. That's legacy. That just plain and simple. That's just legacy. So if you want to be a part, because we want you to be a part of this, reach out to us. Catch us again this time next week. With your questions. We always get questions in between, so we answer those questions. And, we'll see you next week, guys.
Yes, it's been great.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. I'm getting ready to answer these questions.